Darren, 6-4, a little bit close at one stage. It looked as though you were running away with it at 5-2. Ends up being a close game, but generally with three big players unavailable in Greeny, Mason Wild and Sam Broughton, you must be a happy coach.
Yeah, I mean, we turned up, start of the game, we put a game plan in, but obviously everyone didn't buy into that. It's a bit of a tight first period. We weren't happy, but we went in, talked a few things over, set about our game plan a bit different, changed the lines up, made it a little bit more balanced, get a bit of speed and stuff spread across the lines, and yeah, it seemed to change and it went our way in the end.
The Czech player Matassa seemed to be controlling the play for most of the time in the first period. We didn't seem to get, from a commentary point, didn't seem to get close enough to him. Was that something in your thought plan at the break for the first period?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we weren't, as forwards, we weren't forechecking hard enough, which allowed, that meant we were sort of sat high up the ice. It pushed our D-men back, allowed him to walk out. He's a very, very experienced player. He's played at a good level. He's training a lot of these kids day in, day out in the Copenhagen hockey school. But in the second period, we decided to get our forwards going, get our feet going, sort of pin them back in there in a bit. That allowed our D to press up and hold the blue line a bit more and keep a lot more pressure on, and it seemed to work, and we got a lot more pucks to net, and a few went in.
No, very interesting again. I've seen the cute skills of Darren Elliott last week coming from behind the net for the fourth goal. This time a lovely slap shot. 4 very nice slap shots went in today. You know, pretty impressive distance shooting, I would say.
Well, it's all down to, it's not just the good shooting. I mean, it's any shots from range. You need bodies in front of net, you need a lot of traffic, cause a bit of like aggravation in front, and it makes it hard work for the netminders. I mean, other teams have done it to us, and we started the year off playing pretty hockey, and we've just decided that, you know, we need to, sometimes you can't win every game playing pretty. You have to get nitty and gritty and put your body in the way and sort of take a shove and take a stick and stuff, and like I say, it's worked and we're getting there, so it's all going right.
Question. Obviously the versatile Mr. Green was away, unavailable today. My co-commentator said that somebody needed to come to the party. Josh Florey stood up and filled that gap really well. A couple of decent goals, and you must be pleased that, you know, the youngsters know and can learn and come forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I spoke to Josh before the game, and Greeny wasn't there, so I threw an A on his shirt to give him the assistant role. And Josh he's a good player. He's probably the one player that knows how to play nitty and gritty and sort of get a good element of aggression in there. And he's quick, and that was one of the one of the things that we changed up on the lines there, because our line, me, Nick, and Jacob, very placid, very laid back and sat back too much. But we threw Josh on there, which gave us a bit of speed and aggression up front and allowed us to get forward and penetrate with some good goals. And like you say, there's some good goals, and it's all well worked. I think there's long range shots, but everything happens around the net and creates a lot. So
next weekend will come very, very quickly, as you know, in ice hockey. Interesting, Mr. James Scaife was off for long periods. Deputy Ricky done exceptionally well in between the posts, but we don't talk about injuries in the world of ice hockey. I know that, because players will target and do different things, but hopefully nothing too major.
No, nothing. I mean, I've got 2 very, very good netminders. I've got Scaife and I've got Ricky. They both kick very well between the pipes. Every goalie has an off day, but at the moment we seem to be having 2 guys playing very strong. Just after James played the game against Bristol, good game. Get Ricky in the pipes at the start of this year, and then we'll see how Wednesday goes, and obviously next week, and decide who we go with then.
Massive 6-pointer tonight, well done. Haringey losing yesterday as well. The league is very evenly poised as we head down the home straight towards the end of the season. Worried I was a little bit before I came in today. You've been playing well. That was a very good victory against Bristol Pitbulls. How hard is it to keep the players' feet on the ground, or are they just a very committed bunch?
Just a very committed bunch of guys. I mean, we had our slip-ups a few games back, and I think it just goes to show the team that we are. We've overcome that, and like I say, we've brought an element of nitty-gritty to play to our team, and we can do that, and we've won a couple of games by doing it. Now it's nice to know that I've got the scope where if I want to play the pretty hockey against the teams when we have the opportunity, we can, but if we have to fall back and play a little bit scrappy, it works. So it's nice, and it'll be a good year.
Training Wednesday and back on the grind for double headers all the way through. I think it's the Isle of Wight Link Raiders next for you.
Yeah, we've got those next. Always a big game away, small ice, so again, be very aggressive, very close play, a lot of very sort of 6 foot, 8 foot passing, a lot of body work in the corners, and hopefully when it comes down to it, having to get that the pucks in front and a lot of traffic in net, and we'll make it work again. So
6-4 against the oldest of old rivals against the Wildcats. Well done, Darren.
thank you very much.
Slap shot, Sid. What a finish. Quality. Did you enjoy it?
Well, it's always nice to get a goal, but it was Bayless that passed me the puck. There was a lot of traffic in front of that, so he wouldn't see much.
So you're saying it's a bit of a fluke. From where I stood, I thought that was one serious finish. You've got to be pleased with that as a defenceman, because you don't get that far forward all the time, do you?
No, I get a nosebleed if I go that far forward. So.
That was a pretty good finish and set up what was a very good response in the second period from the Stars.
Yeah.
Spicy derby, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to play in a game like that.
Nice bit of physicality going on out there.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to get in the corners, get a bump.
Nice to get in the corners and get a bump. Come on, relax. Come on, talk me through the game. There was moments towards the end when it must have been nip and tuck.
Yeah, that's it. Last time we played them, they come back, and we had to hold on, blocking shots at the end of the last game, and it was pretty similar today. James Pentecost got a nice goal at the end just to finish it off.
No, James Pentecost, he's had 2 penalty shots in a couple of weeks. He's sadly missed them both. But for that one just to creep in when they pulled their netminder, you must have given him some stick in the change rooms. Now he's well and truly in the fold.
That's it, yeah. He's definitely going to be Juice Boy every week, though, isn't he?
He's definitely going to be what? Juice Boy. And what is that then?
Play a penalty shoot at the end, and whoever misses the most, Juice Boy, they buy the beers.
They buy the beers, so there's something to look forward to. A slap shot, Juice Boy getting the beers in. You must be a very happy man, having turned out the old enemy as well.
Yeah, that's it. Wonderful.
Nice, the family as well. Josh, other end, sticking a couple in as well, so a bit of a family celebration.
Yeah, he scores more than me. I don't really score goals. He scores most games.
You have 2, yeah, but you have 2 different roles, so you have to, as a defenceman, surely come off there and think, we've done our job, we've conceded less than we've scored, game done.
Yeah, it's always nice to know that if we've let in 1 goal or 2 goals, it's always nice to do.
Tell me then, John Bayless slides it across to you, you saw traffic in front of you, you gave it everything you got.
It's hit and hope, isn't it?
A hit and hope. The smile, I finally got a smile from you. That was some finish. You must enjoy it. Go down there, get Juice Boy to get you a drink, because I'm telling you, it was a good slap shot.
Thank you.
Paul Donahoe, we've just witnessed a very good victory for the Oxford City Stars against the Wildcats from just down the road. Do you remember games against the Wildcats in your past?
Yeah, we had some pretty good battles between us and Swindon, and a couple of good punch-ups now and again.
Yeah, the rivalry thing, it seems to come out, local derbies up and down the length and breadth of the land, but there is all that little bit of added spice, isn't there?
Yes, definitely with Swindon, because they're the closest to us, and always been a bit of rivalry between us and Swindon.
Now, you have played ice hockey. It's a very physical sport, but we know that you have to go quickly because your wife's waiting for you. Is that correct?
It is, yeah.
So the physical side of it's gone now. You're a bit of a cowtailing husband.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah.
Right, what did you think of that performance from the Stars tonight?
Yeah, very good second period, which gave them a good start to the third. They were lacking a little bit of lustre in the first, I felt, but managed to stay in touch, and then came out really strong in the second period and held on just to the end there.
An explosive last few minutes in the final third as well. It looked at 5-2 as though the job was done. It was a case of seeing it out, but they pulled their keeper and they managed to get themselves back into it, and then James Pentecost, having missed that penalty shot, put one in from just inside his own half to seal the deal. But it was a very nervy end.
Yeah, very exciting, very nervy, but like I say, they just held on. But Swindon turned on the pressure towards the last few minutes of the period, made a good decision to pull the goalie, and obviously worked out well for them because they got that extra goal back, and 5-4 going into the last few seconds. It was touch and go there for a second, and the goalie for Oxford made a couple of good saves, keep us in it, and then we got that sixth there when they pulled their goalie again. So
yeah, so conversely, you can pull it and it works, and you can pull it and it doesn't work.
Indeed, yeah. It's all
now,
both sides.
penalty shots is twice in 2 weeks now. Bristol Pitbulls, James Pentecost had a penalty shot, and he also got one today. You've got to laud it up and say that, hang on, he's getting into those positions and getting penalty shots. But for yourself, did you ever do penalty shots?
I was never very good at penalty shots. It takes a lot of nerve. You've got to have very good technical ability to try and fool a goalie. Especially when it's one-on-one, and you've got to make your mind up what you've got to do before you start, because if you change your mind halfway through, what happens tonight tends to happen. You confuse yourself, or you're just undecided by the time you get to the net, and that's what happens. You stick it into goalie's pad instead of top corner.
When we talk about that, we're going to be talking about John Matassa in just a moment. You know, for want of a better phrase, they are big lumps in the net. You know, if you cut them up and used them as a Tetris game, they would fill 3/4 of the goal. There's not a lot of space there with a penalty shot, or indeed any shot, is there?
No, not at all. Not at all. And somebody like John was very agile, very athletic, and made the net even smaller than normal. So very, very difficult goalie to beat in his day.
Now, you've been down here a couple of times since you hung up your skates, so to speak. You're concentrating on your son's football and going that way. Do you ever get that little inkling to come back and do a little bit more every now and again?
Yeah, the odd time. It does run through your mind always when you've been involved as long as I have. There's a yearning now and again to get back on the ice, but your body tells you no.
But there was 600 plus here today. There must have been that sort of... you must have felt, if you didn't want it, you must have still felt the buzz.
Yeah, the buzz was definitely there tonight, and having that 600 people here obviously makes a difference to the players on the ice. It makes for a brilliant atmosphere, and it does give you that buzz to get out there and give that extra 10% that you would normally give.
What time is face-off on a Sunday for home matches?
6:15.
No excuse for you not to come back, because you've seen 2 wins now, so you've got to come again.
Indeed.
Cheers.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Paul. John Matassa, legend of Oxford City netminded. John, you know, we spoke, you've just watched a game, a local derby. Do you remember many local derbies in your day?
Yeah, we had quite a few with Swindon. They were always pretty sour. But
pretty spicy affairs.
yes, yeah, you could say that. There was no love lost, put it that way.
You're a netminder, but you're a little bit detached, are you, from the squad? Or is there, you know, there's an awful lot after the game and what have you, but as you said earlier on when we interviewed you, you get in the zone as a netminder, don't you?
Yeah, you just switch off to, there can be lots of things going on in front of you, and you've just got to focus on the puck, let the players deal with their pushing and shoving about.
You know, there's quite a bit. You know, I've spoken to defencemen who basically, you know, if the netminder goes down on the puck and somebody comes in thinking you can see a little bit of a loose puck, everybody goes in and defends your honour, so to speak. But you don't seem to be a person that needs to be have too much defence, John. In fairness,
in my day, I was quite fiery.
No.
When I was younger, yeah.
I would never have guessed that. You know, a nice placid gentleman like you. What did you think of tonight's offering today?
It was a good game. Both goalkeepers came up with some big saves. I thought it was a really good game. I think Oxford sat back too much in the first period. They were only forechecked with one man. There was no pressure on Swindon, which allowed Swindon to set up and come forwards. And they were giving up too much of the neutral ice by sitting back so far.
Let's talk about netminders. We'll talk about Ricky Scaife, who started in for the City Stars, was replaced then by James Scaife, sorry, and was replaced by Ricky Young. Don't know if there was a knot there. They both had good games. As a netminder, Adam McGurk, I thought, played really well, but he was beaten by 4 slap shots. Do the keepers not like being beaten? I know they don't want to be beaten any time, but slap shots might be...
Nobody likes getting beaten, but I would suspect that getting beaten for the blue line, you couldn't have seen much. I know there was at least one of the goals that you never seen, until the last minute, and it's just into a reaction save then.
Back in your day, you played in front of 11,500 up at Sheffield. You've played in some big games down here in front of 1,100 people. 600 fans came in to see this spicy local derby and a 10-goal thriller. Was there any little feelings of back in the day, lacing your boots up or your skates?
You always miss it.
You always miss it?
Yeah. It's just, you say when you start playing again, you realise you're getting too old.
The reactions.
The action time just goes down. Yeah.
But
seconds slower than what you used to be.
Now you're only 33. Sorry, I got that wrong, 47. But, you know, you've come back here. I asked you if you lived locally and you said you live in Buckingham.
Buckingham, yeah, that's right.
And how about giving something back? I believe you're doing a bit of coaching.
Well, I'm going to hopefully be starting to help that with kids from probably near the end of this season we'll be starting. So hopefully I'll make some improvement with some of the junior teams by the time next season comes.
When you see youngsters taking up ice hockey, does it give you a thrill that they're not out sort of doing what people perceive as mainstream sports? They're actually going out there and saying, no, I want a pair of skates, I want to go and play ice hockey.
Yeah, it's always good to see young players coming through. That's what basically keeps the sport going. The more interest you get in it, the more kids you're going to have coming through the club.
Now you come down from Bonnie, Scotland.
It's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but you come down. Is Oxford in there now, well and truly steeped in your heart?
Well, I done all my growing up here. I came here when I was 18 and I stayed to my mid-20s. So I basically grew up in Oxford. I grew up with a lot of these players. Well, they're old men now. But
I won't tell them. But when you walk in, do you get that feeling? You think this is home still?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
You have to come back more. Hopefully you do more coaching. Stars TV will come up and do a bit more of an expose when I've done my research on your career. But John Matassa, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.